What if hiring could be easier, more streamlined, and less time-consuming? So even when you're busy, you could still be smart about the way that you hire. With ZipRecruiter, you could post your job to over 100 of the web's leading job boards with just one click. So you can rest easy knowing your job is being seen by all the right candidates. Then, ZipRecruiter puts its smart matching technology to work, actively notifying qualified candidates about your job within minutes of posting, so you receive the best possible matches. That's why ZipRecruiter is different. Unlike other hiring sites, ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on the right candidates finding you, it finds them. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Find out today why ZipRecruiter has been used by growing businesses of all sizes and industries to find the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And now, my listeners can post jobs on ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/J&J. J-A-N-D-J. That's ZipRecruiter.com/J-A-N-D-J. One more time to try it for free. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/J&J.
Buying tickets to sports and concerts can be way too complicated, but there is a better, simpler way to buy. SeatGeek is the smartest, easiest way to get tickets to live events. And right now, get a $20 rebate on your first purchase. Just download the SeatGeek app and enter promo code J&J today.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head the deck. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood. Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Give me your boom, boom, boom.
He is Jalen Rose.
What up, dog?
I'm David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in. Center stage on the mic.
And we putting it on wax. It's the new style.
Hit the brakes. Red saw paid in full.
He came in like it's a good movie. Of course it's a good movie.
It's a classic.
Of course it's a good movie. Come on, it's paid in full.
And it's based on a true story.
It's paid in full.
And I bet, as he mentioned, watching the movie, hearing so many terms that people refer to from the flick, like, oh, I heard that. I get that. Oh, now that makes sense.
Congratulations to Red. She was allowed back at his job today. Jalen.
Now you know what it means when I say no ribs, no rice, no champagne, no nothing.
We're
till you pay me my
Jacoby.
money.
What do we do?
We get the people
Yes.
what they want.
Part of giving the people what they want is going to our Reddit page. If you go to reddit.com/r/Jalen and Jacoby, which I do every single day, you can check in on what people are talking about. Community is building around this podcast, and we ask questions and take them from there. First, we have this soft move or boss move, picking out all the good candy to save for yourself and giving out the rest to the trick-or-treaters. Soft move or boss move, taking the good candy for yourself on Halloween.
It depends on what type of candy it is. For example, if you bought a bag of miscellaneous chocolates,
that's usually how it goes. Usually people buy miscellaneous now and have a selection.
And it's Snickers and Heath and so many others, and you like a specific one, and you take those few out, I respect it. But if you're the person that's taking select Skittles or jelly beans or something like that,
yeah,
first off, that's unsanitary.
Don't be touching
and
my
that's
food.
definitely selfish.
Another thing is this, what's the cutoff of how old you can be and walk up to my door and hold out a bag in my face and ask for free candy?
Oh, that's really simple. I feel like 13.
I feel like, I feel like, yeah, if you are 13, you are too old. Like if you got hair under your armpits, if you gotta use deodorant, you are too old to be walking around the neighborhood trying to get free candy from me. That's not how this works. Then you get to that predatory phase. This is happening in my town between 13 and 15 when you just go around on Halloween and prey on the younger kids and try to steal their bags of candy. Because I spent a lot of Halloweens running through the woods, running away from ninth graders when I was in sixth grade because they were after me for my candy. And I would just hide behind a tree and watch my friends get got and not even say or do a thing. But I guess that's another story for another time. If you call 985-80-JALEN, you can leave us a voicemail. Every Wednesday, we have Woman Crush Wednesday where we take exclusively female callers. Ladies.
Hey, ladies.
If you call 98580 Jalen, you can leave us messages. Ladies, don't forget to leave us messages. We have only female messages on Wednesday. Today, however, we will play any message that comes like this.
Jalen Jacoby, what up, though? It's Ansh from Canton, Michigan, just a bit outside of Detroit. Shout out Detroit. Jalen Rose, I know you are a Detroit sports fan, and so am I. I'm a diehard Pistons fan, Tigers fan, Red Wings fan, Lions fan, man. Hey, and I got a question for you because of that. Soft move or boss move, cheering for a team that isn't in your state if you already have that sport team in your state. Like, I got a friend who is from Detroit as well, and he's a San Jose Sharks fan in the NHL, and I don't understand. He says he just started cheering for them as a kid, and so he just kind of stuck with them. Hey, and now going back to the Pistons, I gotta ask something to Jacoby. Man, why you hate on the Pistons so much? You be like, every time Jalen brings up the Pistons, you always gotta say something negative, I don't understand. And also, this is one thing that's annoying me. Why haven't you guys talked about Tobias Harris's top start? He scored 30 points in 2 of the games, and he's been our best player, averaging 20 points per game. And the Pistons are number 1 in the Eastern Conference, man. All right, that's all I got to say. First, I got to shout out to my brother, Yash. He got me into the pod. I haven't been that long of a listener. I've been listening to you guys since the start of this year, listening to you guys every day during high school, man. And, shout out Reg. I feel like you guys kind of hate on Reg a bit too much, but Reg is really the foundation of the show, in my opinion. All right,
you don't know Reg.
Jalen Rose, David Jacoby. That's all I got to say. Peace out.
Thank you for the shout. Appreciate the love from the glove. A couple of things. For everybody that don't know, Michigan is a mitten on a map if you haven't looked at one recently. That's why I said thanks for the shout from the glove. A couple of things. I'm going to give you the name of a few teams. Please write these down. If you're a true diehard sports fan, please make a mental note. And by the way, these just so happen to be the teams that have won the most championships overall and or recently. In baseball, the Yankees. In football, the Steelers, Packers, or Patriots. In basketball, the Lakers, Celtics, Bulls, and Spurs. Okay, I'm going to say the teams again. Yankees in baseball. In basketball, Celtics, Lakers, Spurs, Bulls. Football, Steelers, Packers, Patriots. If you or somebody that you know does not live in the state or city where one of those teams play, but yet act like that's their squad, bandwagon fan. Right off top.
Reggie, first of all, Reggie just pushed the preach button, and he's wearing a Yankee cap in the other room, and he's from Los Angeles. Just making that point out.
I left off one because I put a star next to it. And the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Let me say that again. And the Dallas Cowboys. So if you live in Michigan and you root for one of the teams I just said, bandwagon fan.
Mm-hmm.
Get off the bandwagon.
If you from Minnesota, Minneapolis, you root for one of the teams I said, bandwagon fan. And you know what kills me too? When somebody is from one of these cities, say you're from Dallas. Of course you root for your Cowboys, but then you can't say you're a Laker fan too.
Get off the bandwagon.
It don't go like that. You can't be from Boston, but then you act like, oh, I'm a Bulls fan. I love Michael Jordan. Of course you did. He was the greatest player of all time. So definitely that's how you identify those that are jumping on bandwagons versus diehards like myself who root exclusively for Detroit area squads.
You know what I root for, Jalen? Whatever my heart feels. And that means I'm going to root for teams that are hot, and I'm a bandwagon fan because that's who I am. I'm a die-easy fan. I root for who I want to win the game while I'm watching the game. I just follow my heart. That's what sorry if following my heart is the wrong thing to do, Mr. Rose. I'll never do that again. I'll never do that again.
That's not called following your heart.
I'll never
do
that again.
Following a bandwagon.
I'll never follow my heart. Well, guess what? My heart wants to win.
Where's E-Double at, Reg?
Get off the bandwagon.
I know you know Reggie Noble where he at.
Oh, yeah, because he's a bandwagon fan. He's got Yankee cap out here every day, Yankee cap, if he doesn't have a Fresh Waves. And
that wasn't what I was talking about.
When I bring him up
earlier, he was rolling with the Hit Squad and the Def Squad.
When I bring him up earlier, he goes, all my family's from New York. You know that. It's your family. That's not you. If you're from Los Angeles, you're from Los Angeles. I don't care if you got a homeboy that lives in New York or a couple cousins and an uncle or whatever. That doesn't matter, Reg. You're still bandwagon.
People from Green Bay talking about they're a Lakers fan.
This is a good question we have from Joe. Did the Pacers win the Paul George trade? Sabonis and Oladipo are balling. Yep. Look, I agree. Sabonis has exceeded expectations. Oladipo has in the early small sample size we have has started to sort of manifest the destiny that was set for him going into the draft. But we can pump the brakes on them. Did they win the trade? Because the Thunder still have Paul George. And last time I checked, Paul George is still one of the best two-way players in the league, not someone who just happens to be exceeding expectations early on when they don't have that many teammates to pass to.
And I definitely must say this, and I'm rolling with you on that. And I want to echo the first caller. I've talked about that on this program. We've gone to Pistons at Knicks, and I saw it up close and personal. Tobias Harris is balling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he's the number one option. He's the number one option on that team. If you need a bucket, you're not looking at Reggie Jackson. You're not looking at Andre Drummond. You're looking at Tobias Harris. And you know what? He's giving him the buckets. Shooting threes. He's posting up. He's doing everything. Shout to him.
Shout out.
All right, Pistons fans. First of all, I don't hate on the Pistons. It's just sometimes there's just so much Piston love. I just need to hedge it a little bit. You know? Just need a little lemon on top of the fish just to balance the flavor. That didn't make any sense. Let's get to people with that. Jalen, it's time for soft move or boss move. So take a look at this video. This is a video of Drake riding on his carry-on luggage through LAX. This thing is called a moto bag. It's got an LED display. It's supposed to be 3 times faster than walking. Soft move or boss move riding on your carry-on luggage?
On multiple levels, this is a boss move.
Oh, no. Oh, no. We're already in disagreement. Explain why this is a boss move.
I'll give you the levels. Number 1, he's owning the bag because it has his logo on it, which means cha-ching every time we talk about it. Number 2, if he's not rolling on it, say it's one of his homeboys or somebody that's one of his fans, we're not talking about it on this program. 3, because we're talking about it on this program, you just gave him a free promotion and advertisement on ESPN2 and ESPN News. How can it not be a boss move? Have you ever heard of LeVar Ball?
I'll tell you how it is a soft move. First of all, there's no problem with walking through the airport. Like, I've never been walking through the airport and been like, God, I really wish that my bag turned into a little moped that I could ride on right now because that'll get me there faster. Another thing is if you have a carry-on, you travel a lot, Jalen. You know this. A carry-on, you have to pack that thing pretty tight because you don't want to check a bag. You're probably going for 2 or 3 nights. You do not have room for an engine. The actual, luggage compartment in this $1,300 bag is so small, you could probably fit that stuff in a backpack and you wouldn't even need to ride on your bag or even roll it behind you. It just seems inefficient. It seems exorbitant to the point where I would call it a soft move.
You're speaking as somebody that's run and completed a 26-mile marathon. Somebody that plays more basketball than I would ever since I retired. That's an able-bodied gentleman.
Yeah.
What about the people that aren't so able-bodied?
Drake is very able-bodied. Drake is not on the injury report this week.
I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about the individuals that he wants to buy the product. That don't feel like you when it's walking through the airport. That, it's so easy. It's no big deal. I feel that way. Okay. But there are people that probably struggle getting from point A to point B. Are you one of those people that when you're at the airport and it's the four-way cart, do you jump on the back and pay the dude a little tip or the young lady to give you a ride?
I have never done that. Have you done that, Jalen?
It's the same thing.
It's not.
I've done it a couple times when I was running late.
You've done that? You've paid them cash to get on the back of the cart. A 6'7" professional athlete that could easily make his own way through the airport.
Do you know how many times I've been running late to flights? Absolutely.
Moving on. Tom Brady was on his weekly radio hit.
Here's a story.
They asked him
of a man named Brady.
What was he going to go as Halloween? He kind of dodged the question a little bit and then finally revealed that he and his wife were going as avocado and toast. They bought them on Amazon. Couple's costume of avocado toast, soft move or boss move?
Any couple's costume is a boss move.
Okay.
It's the solidarity. It's the unity. It's the fraternity of two individuals, the sorority, saying that not only am I going to do my thing for Halloween, but let's do our thing together. Me and Molly should have dressed up. I saw somebody on Twitter that gave us a great example of what to do.
Shout out.
Well,
first off, you would be Tommy, I would be Ghost, and she would be Angela. We could just go as the crew of power.
Let's get it together for tomorrow. But on this avocado toast thing, here's the thing I don't like about this Tom Brady. This is why I think it's a soft move. It feels like everything he does is just to extend the Tom Brady mystique. Because his whole diet, I don't eat strawberries, I don't drink caffeine, I don't drink alcohol. I love avocado ice cream. I eat so many avocados that when it comes to a Halloween costume, do you know what I dress up as? An avocado. Because avocados have fatty acids that are really good for my body because I'm Tom Brady. I work out a lot. I'm 40 years old. I'm going to play until I'm 75 years old in the NFL. I don't believe you, Tom. You need more people. You don't love avocado ice cream. I know you don't. I know you drink alcohol. I know you drink coffee. I know you had a strawberry. Stop lying to the people, Tom Brady. That's why it's a soft move.
Enjoying this podcast? Then you should check out all of ESPN Film's newly released 30 for 30 podcasts. From the producers of our award-winning documentary series, this is an amazing collection of sports stories you need to hear to believe. Speaking of amazing, Delta Airlines and the Fly Delta app make your travel experience amazingly easy with real-time bag tracking, e-boarding, and passport scanning during check-in. And don't forget to download 30 for 30 podcasts to fill your flight with stories that will keep you coming back for more.
Shabazz Muhammad is changing his name, officially changing his name to Baz, and I thought that maybe there was something behind it, religious or this or that. He was like, nope, everybody already calls me Baz anyway, so I'm changing my government name to my nickname. Government name to nickname. Soft move or boss move?
Hold on, I hear the league office, Adam Silver. Oh, that's a failed test.
Oh, that's a failed test. Oh, no.
Bring him to the front of the line.
Where's Kiki? Someone get Kiki.
Mr. Muhammad, can you please come to the front of the line? I want to talk to you for a minute.
We have a random test for Mr. Muhammad. Oh, I didn't even think about that angle. It's a failed test.
That's a soft move. It's a nickname for a reason. It's what we call you.
Yeah. That'd be like me changing my name to Jacoby. I don't have any problems clearly
with somebody changing their name, but don't do it to their nickname. You don't see Irvin Johnson changing his name to Magic, but that's what we always call him.
Of course. Good point. Another thing is, I didn't even think about this angle. Not only is it a soft move, it's also a failed test. Kiki Vandeweghe has noted. Moving on. You know, I always say you can be mean if you're funny. And this next one really toes that line. This is a Halloween costume from someone that lost their leg to cancer. Tragic. Shout out to him for fighting through it, all the struggles he has to get through. But he used his amputated leg to mimic Gordon Hayward's gruesome injury in the first game of the NBA season. Mimicking Gordon Hayward's injury in a Halloween costume, soft move or boss move?
Making light of anybody's injuries is a soft move. Now, however, I like how you prefaced it by saying that he's dealing with some health issues of his own. Mm-hmm. And I applaud the fact that if that day, if that minute, if that moment allowed him to take some of the angst off of what he has to deal with as he deals with his health-related issue, that I understand that for his situation. But overall, not going to be able to do it.
I may or may not have gotten tired out from watching football all day and parenting 3 children and fallen asleep halfway through the World Series game, only to wake up and see that I missed one of the greatest fall classic games in the history of the sport. Falling asleep during the World Series, soft move or boss move?
It was a 5-hour game. That's a boss move. You got to wipe your 3 kids,
get some
bro.
rest. I got to get some rest. It's a big day tomorrow.
That game was the second longest game that's been played in the last decade.
Game 5 was fantastic with dingers, bombs, and home runs launching from everywhere. Lead changes, comebacks on comebacks on comebacks. One of those home runs was this home run off the bat of Yasiel Puig. You will see, caught by a fan, then grabbed away and thrown back onto the field. Jalen, soft mover, boss move, stealing the ball from your sister-in-law and throwing it back onto the field.
That's a boss move.
I like it. Why is it a boss move?
Because as fans, you make that choice. When the opposing team hits a home run, we're going to throw the baseball back. It's been happening over decades. It's happened in multiple stadiums across the country. Regular season baseball, postseason baseball. Now, there is a guy, you can Google him, that basically has caught a home run ball at every stadium. This is actually what he does for a living. But the thing that jumped out to me more than anything is the baseball has to be juiced. He literally reached out and hit the ball with one hand. I thought he was going to get a pop-up to the shortstop.
Here's why I think this is a soft move. This is his sister-in-law, right? And if you watch the video, it's like she has a hand grenade. Like he grabs it from her and throws it like she was in danger. You know what I mean? Like he could have had a little conversation with her about it or something. Something tells me that my man might have had some adult beverages when it was that late in the game. He might have been a little intoxicated, enthusiastic. He might have been a little passionate about the game at that point. Because if that's my sister-in-law, I would explain to her that if she would give me the ball, then I could throw it onto the field as is tradition. But instead, he just grabs it from her like it's going to blow up and throws it away. You could tell she was sitting there like, what are you doing there, Kirk?
That is not the time for explanation.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
In the vehicle en route to the arena, the stadium, is the time for that conversation. Once you start to turn up, it's too late for that talk.
Well, is it too early for this talk? In the last 5 games, the Cleveland Cavaliers have the second worst defense in the NBA. They've lost 4 of their 5. They've been outscored by 11.2 points per 100 possessions, and they are now 3-4 on the season, despite a super soft schedule. LeBron James is usually pretty harsh on his Cavalier teammates and their performance during these stretches, but says it's too early to worry about all this. It's still October. Do you agree with James that it's too early?
A correct Darrell Reeves moment. I guess we ain't going to talk about Detroit beating the Clippers and the Golden State Warriors. Detroit basketball!
We're not going to discuss
media
that.
Guys kill me.
We're not going to discuss that.
Okay, let's talk about LeBron, because he sells tickets. Okay. The Cavaliers can't stop anybody.
No.
And here's a glaring weakness that they have that won't change a lot. Their starting lineup isn't tall, and it doesn't rim protect. And the pillars of your defense are your point guard, Derrick Rose, and your center, Kevin Love. They're not lockdown defenders.
They're not lockdown defenders.
And so when you can't control the ball and you can't contest at the rim, oh, man. Porzingis like, what? Okay. This is easy work.
Yeah, Tim Hardaway Jr.
Like,
with 34.
Okay. Just think about this. I just named you 2 7-foot guys that play on the perimeter. That's the tallest guy out there. Nobody can contest him. Tim Hardaway Jr. was like, okay, I'm open for 3. This is easy work. And so their issues are on the defensive end. And lastly, they were able to outshoot teams from the 3-point line.
Yes.
People underestimate at a record pace the Cleveland Cavaliers made shots from the arc last season. They're not making them as much and or as efficient this year. Those are the 2 glaring weaknesses that stand out to me.
And one of the things that Cav defenders will say is, they're working in new players. They've got Derrick Rose and Jay Crowder and these new pieces. Well, here's some bad news for Cavs fans is they're going to continue to be working in new pieces all the way into February because they still have Isaiah Thomas, who's on the bench trying to get healthy. Now, we always joke that all NBA fights are essentially what, Jalen?
Hold me back!
This Friday night, between the Wizards and the Warriors, we had a very unique hold me back moment. In an uncharted hold me back territory, both Draymond and Bradley Beal held each other back. What do you think about this snuggle fight that occurred on Friday night?
It reminded me of when we do the segment, Am I Crazy? And we have on the straight jackets.
Except our straight jackets aren't made by Nike, so they don't rip while we're trying to get them off. Now, here's a little interesting part of this is both Carrick Felix and Markieff Morris were suspended, while no one else was suspended, for coming off the bench, even though they didn't really get involved. You've had a playoff team that was derailed by this rule. Is it time that they start changing the way that this rule is enforced?
You can't legislate the rule based on the premise of just leaving the bench. It has to be unless you're escalating the altercation. Because sometimes the people leaving the bench can be peacemakers, can be those that help defuse the situation. You mentioned the Boris Diaw and Amari situation I was a part of when the Phoenix Suns were playing at San Antonio and Robert Horry threw a forearm shiver at Steve Nash. But you didn't mention in 1998 when we were playing Bulls at Pacers, Reggie Miller got tangled up 75 feet away from our bench. I took one step out on the floor to check out what was happening with my future Hall of Fame player, because if he ain't healthy, we don't eat. So I'm like, what's going on? And I got suspended for a game. In that game, we lost by 25 points in a series that ended up going 7. So I think now, just like Adam Silver has modified certain things that work in the best interest of the game, I think he will also do this in the coming future.
Remember where you heard it first. I also believe that they will change the way this rule is enforced, because a lot of people just come out onto the floor, then forget the rule, and then run back onto the bench, and they still get suspended anyway. You should only be suspended if you get involved in the altercation in a bad way.
It's like rubbernecking on a freeway. You just automatically, out of muscle memory, somebody you love, somebody your teammate, a situation happen, boom. In that split second, we've seen a lot of teams get punished.
I'm Jody Avirgan. Have you heard of Blue Apron? Well, now you have. Blue Apron's mission is to make incredible home cooking accessible to everyone. The country's #1 fresh ingredient and recipe service, fresh, high-quality ingredients make the difference, so it's important to know where your food comes from. Plus, it's affordable, easy, and full of surprises. Check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals for free with free shipping. Go to blueapron.com/30 for 30.
All I want to talk about is this mysterious Thunder plane ride. The Thunder were on a Delta plane, I believe it was from Minneapolis to Chicago, short flight. They had some turbulence mid-flight, and then when they landed, Delta is saying that a bird is what caused this damage on the descent. I don't believe them, Jalen Rose. Here is another flight that was also had the same fate, except this time it was a bird. This is Turkish Airlines. Note the blood stains on the flight that was hit by a bird. There were no blood stains on the Thunder flight. Also, they said that it was hit by a bird on descent, but there was a lot of turbulence in the flight mid-flight that caused them to lower their altitude. Jalen Rose, there's only one explanation for this. This proves that UFOs exist, does it not?
You've been on me about this for 6 years, and now I'm rolling with you. I have to agree.
Thank you. That was not a bird.
As somebody that does a lot of traveling, trust me, and has been on some roller coaster flights, that's done sent some texts, some emails, and sent some Hail Marys in the air and on the ground multiple times. Traveling in the league, just traveling, period, traveling for a living. I'm on 2 or 3 flights at minimum each week. If a bird could do that to a plane, I would never get on a plane again.
I need a better plane. If a bird can do that to a plane, first of all, that's your excuse. If I'm Delta, I'm not riding with this bird thing. I'm like, there was a rock, it was a meteor, it was something, because I don't want a bird. We looked this up. Those birds weigh like 15 pounds. So you're telling me a 15-pound bird completely caved in the nose of the plane like that? I don't know. Here's another thing. Maybe it wasn't an unidentified alien object. Maybe it wasn't a space entity flying a plane around in the sky. Perhaps there's another reason for this. Perhaps there's someone who really doesn't want to see Carmelo Anthony happy. Perhaps Phil Jackson was on the ground with a catapult, catapulting debris up at the Thunder plane before it landed in Chicago. What do you think about that theory?
That's hilarious. The one thing about Phil is that he has so many championships. I know people want to clown him about his front office lack thereof success.
Oh, I want to clown him.
But he still collected a big check from the Knicks to not be in their front office. So did Larry Brown. Those are the 2 biggest checks I've seen somebody have to actually not perform for the New York Knicks. But I figured out also who it probably was. It was the late, great Robin Williams, and a character. Mork from Mork.
Nanu. Mork and Mindy. We are so old. There is no one watching this program right now that got that reference. Like there's no one. Everyone who's our age is asleep right now. It's all the young people who are like Mork and like who's Robin Williams? Is he related to Robin Ventura?
Google it.
Next, there are reports that the Eagles, the Jaguars, and potentially other teams have reached out to your Detroit Lions in trying to secure the rights to Calvin Johnson via trade. Jalen, how would it feel to see Calvin Johnson in a different uniform?
I don't think that's going to happen. It wouldn't bother me so much because at this point, I'm rooting for him, the individual. Like, not only was he a great player and deserved the nickname Megatron, but he always handled himself with maturity, respect, and class. He was a guy that I've seen on an 0-16 team. He was a guy I've seen just fall out and faint his final year when we just find ways to lose games at the end. So I would like to see him happy. The Jaguars, their defense has been on fire, in particular leading the league in sacks. And I hate to say I told you so about Philly, but they're one of the most balanced teams in the league. I wouldn't be mad at it at all.
Jalen, finally we have this story from the world of soccer. A gentleman was playing soccer when a teammate kicked him in the groin and his penis exploded. He was hospitalized. He had 10 stitches on his man area. And he's reportedly going to not miss a single game. How long would you be out with a penis exploded?
Oh, I'm retiring. I'm done.
I'm not going back on the soccer field. Anything that could potentially explode my penis, I'm not involving myself
me in that area.
There is no way.
We're going to have real issues.
Wait, I wouldn't do the show for 6 months if I had an exploded penis.